Hi, everyone. My name is Stephen, co-founder of the Taraxa project, and welcome to our biweekly AMA. So per usual, we're going to give you a quick status update on the project's progress and answer a few commonly asked questions that we see in our communities all the time. And of course, as usual, please feel free to ask any questions that you might have during our AMA. Okay, so quick status update. Our testnet, right now the testnet is actually back up. So like we mentioned in the last AMA, the types of problems that we're seeing right now are mostly related to edge cases, involving network recovery and performance issues that are driven by scale, right? So the number of nodes as well as the amount of data that was generated. So as you know, also as we mentioned in the last AMA, this is actually an excellent trend. Because we have really stopped seeing core consensus issues, unlike the type of problems that we're seeing sort of last year and the beginning of this year. So now we're seeing a lot of these edge cases and a lot of problems are caused by the size of the network, for example. Also we're able to identify a lot of these problems because of the heterogeneous networking environment that are provided by many of our early community volunteers who have volunteered to test our node. So thank you everyone for your contributions. We could not have done this without you. We gave a few examples of the types of problems that we actually ran into, and you can come over to our Discord channel as well as pay attention to our tech updates to get a flavor of what are some of the things that we're looking at. But yeah, as of right now, the network is back up, and we're going to continue to work on a few more known issues and keep hunting for ones that we haven't seen before. But we are making very rapid progress in terms of finding a lot of these issues. And honestly, I think we feel very fortunate that we're seeing these issues right now and not much later. For example, after a deploy mainnet or something. So. Staking development is really on track. I think we're pretty confident that we're going to be able to release this prior to the next unlock. So it will give everyone something interesting to look forward to as well as part of the revamped community website. Okay, so one of the questions that we actually got pretty frequently, and I think this is a question that probably gets asked to all layer 1 projects, is how do we plan? How does Taraxa plan to grow its ecosystem, right? So the first thing I want to actually talk about is sort of how we're a little bit different in the way that we're growing our ecosystem versus a lot of the other layer 1s that we actually see. So in order for an ecosystem to truly succeed, right, it needs to have a killer application with extremely strong built-in network effects. Right. So an example would be Ethereum, for example. It has a very strong set of killer applications built around financial use cases. It started out in really in 2017 with ERC20 ICOs till today with all these sort of lending and DeFi protocols that you see on Ethereum. It has gained a significant, tremendous amount of traction. There's a lot of liquidity that's actually in the network and in the ecosystem, right? So that is an organically grown category of killer applications with strong network effect. And there have been alternatives on the market that are from a technical perspective, purely technical perspective, far superior to Ethereum's technology. So that had existed for a very, very long time. But people still use Ethereum, right? Despite its high networking fees and its slow speed, specifically because of this networking effect, right? This type of application belongs to Ethereum. It was grown organically out of Ethereum, and now there's so much liquidity on it, it almost doesn't make sense for anyone to leave, right? So, so if you're a layer 1 and you're simply trying to copy another ecosystem's applications, as a lot of layer 1s are doing today, that approach is ultimately going to be unsuccessful, right? Because it's going to be extremely expensive for you to gain any kind of short-term traction, and that short-term traction will disappear over medium to long term, especially after a network like Ethereum upgrades its technical infrastructure. Right? So you have to be able to in order to build a sustainable ecosystem for the long term, you have to be able to find your own killer application, a category of killer applications, and then also be able to organically grow it on your ecosystem so that it has built-in network effects, right? So for Taraxa, as we keep saying, that type of application is going to be informal transactional agreements, right? It helps you to, there are short-term operational value to help, minimize the amount of confusion and disputes, and there's long-term financial value, right? It could be actually quantified into reputation, and that would be interesting as a feeding, right, into the myriad of financial applications that we're seeing today in the marketplace. So, okay, great. All right, so that's the quick update for today. Let's see if we have any questions. Okay, if there are no questions, we're just going to end this AMA for today. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and please keep following Taraxa's progress. Thanks.